the way forward for us economically and socially is in a federal system, because there you can solve conflicts where they start. First of all, we really support the government to build the institution. You know, I said it before, when, let's say, motor bridges, we help the provincial government to establish their competencies, and they will be able to take it forward. Nepal will have to play maybe a niche, also in niches for export. You cannot compete with India and China, as we Switzerland cannot compete with Germany and France. We had a Swiss business mission, and we had here Lufthansa and Swiss, and they looked at the potential. They believe there can be potential. And this constitution, when you compare with other countries, is very good. You know, I mean, excellent. But the constitution is only as good as it's implemented.
Good afternoon. In the interview of New Businesses, we have today our guest, Her Excellency Swiss Ambassador to Nepal, Elisabeth von Capeller. I hope I have pronounced it rightly.
Yeah, I did.
Welcome to the show, ma'am. So, let me ask with the first question, where is the Swiss Embassy in Nepal focusing its activities now in Nepal?
So, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here and share some of my thoughts. As you know, we are here since more than 60 years. We started with development cooperation, with cheese and forest, and we somehow have evolved from where we started, and are now today more on private sector development. We have always been, as much as it has been possible, supported institution of Nepal, not just parallel implementation, but institution. Be it in the trail bridges or motor bridges, we hand them over. We have now a system in place in Nepal on the local level and province level who can take over it. So the system building, the institutional building was always an important focus for us. Without that, any development support is not sustainable, we believe.
Right. So, how is the experience so far? I mean, maybe some good ones, some not so good ones. Can you give some best examples?
Yes. We have some really success support, and as I said, the trail bridges were the first, starting in the 60s, 70s. These were the first, bridges who allowed people to be more mobile. You know, it was a very rural country, and mobility and access is the condition for economic development. Without road, without trail bridges, now motor bridges, we are now newly in tunneling. So without access, no economic development. I would say that's one of our really flagship. And the flagship also, or the success is also that we are able now to hand over and say we pull out, you know. And another success, I would say, was in the technical vocational education system. You mentioned before that it's difficult to find the right laborers here. So we are in technical vocational education since also very long, and we are supporting now the government after the constitution, because the mandate lies on provincial and local level, and to also now take this responsibility and implement TVET schools and so on. And another point, maybe I would say that we mentioned also, we discussed shortly before, is the migration. 15 years ago when I came, when we said migration is reality, people were shocked. Politicians said we should not talk about. Nowadays, everybody accepts migration is a factor. Without migration, this country would not be where they are. For me, the migrants are the real heroes. And we have supported the government, and we will also hand over soon the safer migration concept, where migrants can go to the city office and get support and information so they are not cheated. So I would say that's a bit where we believe we have been doing an added value. As we are also an embassy, we are of course also looking for Swiss business promotion. So this goes hand in hand. And because of that, we also have always, with the other banks and development partners, we lobby or we support the government to have a better framework for foreign investment. Without foreign investment, no development in this country. So I would say for the moment that's what I see where we have a focus and where we also link development with business interest.
You know, Switzerland is taken as an ideal for Nepal for economic development, for federal system and others. So how is your observation and what is going on in Nepal? Are the steps being taken by Nepal in the right direction to become Switzerland of the East?
I always say it would be boring if Nepal would become Switzerland. Nepal should be Nepal.
True.
And but maybe there is some similarities and therefore some common experiences we share. And I believe we have the same political system because we are also a country of diversity in Switzerland. And we have understood that the way forward for us economically and socially is in a federal system, because there you can solve conflicts where they start. And that is our recipe, our success story in Switzerland. Switzerland's economy, and many people don't know, is built on SME, small and medium enterprise, not on the big thing, you know. And we have seen during COVID that the small and medium enterprises were more resilient than the big companies. So as that's something we support Nepal and Nepal enterprises, especially on the small and medium enterprise section, because there it's where the innovation comes. There is where know-how can be generated. There is where employment is generated. And this understanding that small is beautiful, small and medium enterprises contribute to an economy of a country, is probably not yet understood from all the politicians.
Right.
And there we are also supporting Nepal.
So how is your observation about how our federal system is being run? Are you happy with how it is being run? Or
you know, this constitution was a consequence of the peace agreement. You know,
right.
You had a struggle and a peace agreement, then a constitution, and this constitution, when you compare with other countries, is very good. You know, I mean, excellent. But the constitution is only as good as it's implemented. So we said always, Nepal is on a good trajectory. I see it, as told you, since 2004. I think it's a positive direction. It's a bumpy road. You know, we believe that at least 3 election cycles until a system is going to be in place. And I personally think Nepal has achieved a lot. You had then an earthquake and then COVID. However, certain things have to happen now.
Right.
Certain things have to happen, and there is many acts in the parliament, not yet in the parliament, which has to be passed in order that the system function.
Right.
There is always saying federalism is too expensive. No, it's not. It depends. If you want to have on all 3 fair the same level of number of people, yes, of course. But if it's according to the mandate, not. Switzerland has one of the cheapest administration costs worldwide. Having said that, we believe that the Civil Service Act is very, very important to be passed in order that the province at the local level can hire their staff. Otherwise, it's not functioning. Federal system is always cheaper than a war. That's what we have understood in Switzerland. You know, we had tension in Switzerland in the 70s. We had also groups which started to be armed because they want to split, and we could manage it by giving them a separate province, and we managed it, and it was cheaper than an internal conflict. So that's what I see.
How do you see the role being played by the players of the federal system? Are they doing the right job, or you see some corrections are required?
That's a very tricky question you've asked me now. I would say we see on local level, I mean, it's amazing. And of course, there is maybe things we can correct, but definitely service delivery is much better. I remember the time of when the LDOs was. I mean, it was a different time, but you see service delivery is definitely better. The province are new. The province will find their role. They have to find a role, but also people expect wrong things from the province. If somebody asks what my province is doing, I can only say higher education, hospitals, the provincial road, and economic frame. Because federalism is about competition. Which province will offer the best condition for private sector? That's what I know what my province is doing. But my province doesn't give me something directly. So I think the understanding what a province should be is maybe not yet so deeply anchored. And then the understanding what the federal government should do is maybe also not yet so anchored. I can't say what our role is in Switzerland, the federal government, because I am an employee of the federal government, is standard setting, policy development, and quality assurance. These are the major tasks, at least in Switzerland, of the federal government. Okay. Probably that's where the country will come towards, but I mean, it was a huge change, and it will take time. But I'm, again, very positive.
Switzerland has been providing assistance to Nepal in various fields, such as dairy industry, farming, technical and vocational education. So what new initiatives are being taken?
So first of all, we really support the government to build the institution. You know, I said it before, when, let's say, motor bridges, we help the provincial government to establish their competencies, and they will be able to take it forward. And we also support the provincial government and local government in their institution building, because there. Having said that, now service delivery is with the government. So we can now focus on economic development, and that's what we do. And where we believe there is a huge future. Nepal is graduating out of LDC, and this means also our response and support should change. So that means, for example, we have now funds from CIFEM. This is the Swiss Investment Fund for Foreign Investment. This is this kind of DFI called Development Finance Institution. They give loan. There's no grant. Right. So I think these instruments come slowly more, and with CIFEM coming in, the Swiss Investment Fund for Foreign investment, we see really also a change of our approach. You know, we want to support now the economic development in this country, and we have to find our niche. Where is Switzerland's added value? You know, we are a small player. We have to find where our niche, where we can be very innovative and fast. And we see really in innovative finance mechanism also one area we would like to go.
Right. Yeah. But you do it G2G, government to government, or you do it from government to private sector also?
From both. We have both modalities, of course.
Right.
Of course, we need a bilateral agreement with the government. That's our legal frame.
Right.
But then in that agreement, we work directly with the private sector. But we also work, for example, now with the provinces to help them to develop their economic I would say frame to attract businesses, because they have to be attractive, you know.
True.
Now they want to attract private sector, private business, but they have also to offer something, you know, be it good infrastructure, or be it good opportunities for or finance instruments. They have to offer something, good regulations, a one-stop shop where private sector can come in. So there is many things they could offer. So we always work also with the government and the private sector, and they have to come together. You know, that's also something we see very much in the Tibet sector, that without private sector, the country will not be able to educate the right skill set. Because if the private sector doesn't tell the government what kind of skill they need, what kind of skills their employers need, I mean, then you produce young people who will not be able to find a job here.
You know, for some decades, the focus of Switzerland in Nepal seems to have shifted to political field, you know, beginning the insurgency. So now that the peace process has completed for some years now, is it not time Switzerland shifts the focus back to economic field?
Yeah, I mean, I partially answered it.
You said yes.
Having said that, for me, the peace process is not finished yet. There is some elements still. I mean, one is the transitional justice.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
where we
Yes.
hope that
Yes.
the bill will be passed.
Right.
And the other is all these acts I talked about, you know.
True.
All these acts will make the country or enables the country to implement the constitution. And I believe this is also still a mandate which comes from the peace. So I would not say black and white. I think the country is still on a process to implement certain aspects which are from the peace agreement. However, I said, you know, now the private sector should be coming in the forefront. And I said also Nepal needs to open to the world. Without foreign investment, the economy will not be able to produce enough. And I believe with also foreign investment there will come innovation, you know, and it will allow young people to get good jobs in the IT sector, in the fintech sector. I mean, that's the sector I believe are the future of the country. I believe this country will be a service delivery country. Certain people think maybe big industrial complex will come. I don't think so. Nepal is a service delivery country, will be in health, in education, in hospitality, maybe in banking. I hope so. But in many domains, it will be a service delivery country.
You talked about the Nepal's private sector also. So far, how is your experience? How do you see Nepal's private sector? Are they really innovative? Really, you know, can they be partner with the foreign investors? How is your experience?
Of course they can partner, you know. I think it will be a give and take, but in the long run they will profit. Maybe certain people still are a bit reluctant, you know, to open because it's also maybe a fear behind, but honestly speaking, it will be only for the profit of Nepal business sector because it brings innovation. It will bring innovation and it will bring jobs. And it will connect Nepal to the global world more. And we discussed that many people leave Nepal, you know, young people. And I think maybe if Nepal is a bit more connected to the global world, they also would feel more at ease to come back. I don't know, that's maybe a dream. Yeah.
Okay. You know, Nepal has been continuously seeing deficit in the trade with the Switzerland. So more serious is the declining trend of Nepal's exports to Switzerland in the recent years especially. So how do you see the Switzerland-Nepal trade relation evolving in the future, and what is the Swiss embassy doing in this regards?
Thank you so much. I would say, of course, Nepal has to offer something which is attractive for import. And again, I see Nepal will have to play maybe a niche, also in niches for export. You cannot compete with India and China, as we Switzerland cannot compete with Germany and France. So it's again to find a niche where products can be exported. But I really see in fintech a lot of potential or other areas. Or then I always say I don't know any other country which has such a marketing advantage. You have a prayer flag and a tip of a mountain, a white mountain, and it sells. You know, Nepal has the meat or of a beautiful, healthy, natural country. So I believe in certain niche product you can build on that and sell better.
Thank you. Besides fintech or other services, do you see any other products that has potential to be exported to Switzerland? For example, we used to export carpet, pashmina, now not much. So do you have you ever thought about any products that you see as a potential?
Yeah, I think certain agriculture products, especially, you know, you have we promoted now elaichi. I don't know if you have followed. We had this elaichi campaign. I think Nepali cardamom can be also more exported. I think there is other products which can be. There is now a growing market for avocado. I recently met a trader in avocado, a Swiss, and he told me, I mean, this country, there's a lot of potential for avocado. I think in certain areas it has potential to export agriculture goods. But this would be the more quality products. And in coffee also, I mean, there is coffee, very good high-end coffee, so I also seen coffee, but coffee is also limited, of course. And then we have the best tea shops in Switzerland, they buy tea from Nepal.
Right.
But then the high-end quality. Again, they don't buy this mass produced tea, but the high-end, the
Right.
quality products.
Right.
So I see there as well some chances.
Right. And about the tourism, many tourist arrivals in Nepal from Switzerland is also very low. It has not picked up even in the recent months, when the arrivals of other major sources countries, for example US or other, they are improving. So what may be the reason, and where should Nepal you think should improve?
I believe other countries also are not yet where they have been before
past,
COVID.
yes.
Yeah, I believe also. I mean, we had this Ukraine crisis. I mean, we have a multiple crisis in the world. I believe
Right.
this has an effect on the people's. I mean, maybe interest to go abroad. But now we see it will pick up again. I'm very confident it will pick up again. Nepal is not a cheap country. When you
Okay.
come, it's not cheap.
Okay.
And where I think Nepal has to invest more is in the quality of hospitality. There clearly, I mean, people start to compare where to go, and now I see Ladakh. Everybody wants to go Ladakh because this is now the pure country. So when people come from Switzerland to Nepal, they go for trekking, and they don't want to trek along a road, So I believe Nepal needs to still to develop an understanding where they want which kind of tourism. There is religious tourism. There will be art, maybe art tourism.
Bird watchers or
Yeah, bird watchers. But for that you need to, when you have everywhere roads, who wants to come here to pay a lot for walking along the road? So I think there, I hope Nepal will have a strategy where to promote which tourism.
Right.
And then there is so much potential in this country. So I think there will be a lot of different forms of tourism, be it religious, be it more outdoor, it's bungee jumping or whatever. And then the one who go to trek, it's a huge opportunity. There is so much opportunity which can be developed further. But cost benefit, I believe, when you compare with international market, I see there's still potential to improve.
Okay. One recent news about Nepal-Switzerland economic relations is that an air service agreement is not being signed between the two countries. But given the EU restriction still in place, what can we expect in actual implementation of this agreement?
Yeah, thank you so much. We talked before about tourism. I heard from many hospitality owners in Pokhara that many people after the air crash have cancelled.
Right.
You see, I mean that was also to start with. I think the EU is the Nepal's airline are still on the ban.
Yes.
Because of different reasons. I mean, we know why.
Right.
This agreement between Switzerland and Nepal means that Swiss companies or air companies could fly to Nepal, but Nepal Airlines cannot fly to Switzerland as long as, because we follow also the EU regulations or the rules. So as long as this is not lifted, I believe Swiss Nepali airline also will not be able to land in Switzerland. So of course we hope. We had a Swiss business mission, and we had here Lufthansa and Swiss, and they looked at the potential. They believe there can be potential. But maybe not yet direct flight, but via India, and they have some idea that Nepal could be a hub from China and then directly to Europe. So there is ideas around which are to further be developed.
So still not very positive signs in a very short period of time.
No, it
may take
depends
longer
on the
time.
Nepal government how they want to, implement this request from the EU. I mean, it's mainly on that the regulator is also the monitor here and the self-implementer. I mean, this is this questions on different mandates on the one roof. So I believe that's one of the points which Nepal can address and will address. I'm very confident.
Okay. Let's also talk about this Swiss business delegation. They visited Nepal recently. I was also there to interview some of them. So what were the outcomes and what sorts of Swiss investments can we expect in the near future?
Okay. I think interesting was many of them came from India, they have seen India. And for them, Nepal was another state of India. They have understood Nepal is not India.
Of course.
And Nepal is not a poor country, how it's seen by India. And Nepal is also not ruled by China. So, I mean, there is this kind of pictures they had. And they have seen that this is a potential here. It's one of the last emerging markets in Asia. First come, first serve. We also told them you have to come and have this kind of business relationship. So they were very positive, and they found also that the people in the ministry, even the minister, were very open and accommodative. So we had received very positive feedbacks. Some things already happened afterwards. Some deals could be already done. The pharma sector is very interested to continue, and also the engineering companies were interested to find also means to bring innovation to Nepal. Also the airline. I found the outcome is positive. I found they have understood. They have now to watch Nepal, and as soon as there will be or is political stability, then I believe Nepal will be very attractive for many businesses.
So can we expect some more delegation in near future or anything?
Yeah, we plan already a new delegation more in the fintech area.
Okay.
We may make now more than thematic specific delegations.
Any near dates? Any dates fixed?
Yeah, we have seen it in second half of year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So
we don't give up because we really believe in Nepal and the
so
potential.
positive outlook. Thank you very much, Excellency. Excellency, one area where Nepal can expect Swiss investment is in tourism, because you have been doing so good in that area, especially in training institute. So what deters Swiss parties from making such investments?
So as I said, we are in the Tibet sector where we work a lot with hospitality for the training, and certification. So I think on this side we are very active. On the other hand, we are in trail tourism development in the eastern part. We have, and I will give you afterwards a brochure, we have in Rolvaling one trail developed together with the community. Then the Mundum trail, I don't know if you have heard.
Yes, of
and
course.
there will be tea garden trails and rhododendron trails and other trails. We support the local government together with the province to establish. We think, and that COVID has shown it in Switzerland, but also here, it's a domestic tourism which is much more, has much bigger potential. I believe now, also in comparison to the 10 years ago, many young Nepali go now to trek or to do. The idea of our support to these treks is, first of all, that several municipalities work together, because federalism is about cooperation, collaboration and coordination. So to bring these different palikas together on one idea. And then also it's also about each trail has a storyline. Tea, then it's about tea quality, and the Mundum trail is about the ethnic trail, but also about food and architecture, and it's economic development, but with a special focus.
Right.
And we have seen in Mundum trail that only the fact that this trail is built and in a very, I would say, interesting way with benches and also some heritage monuments. So it has attracted 10,000 of people. So we believe very much that's a huge potential. And then, of course, also we come in with the support of quality hospitality. You know. So I'm quite positive.
Okay.
Exciting. Yeah.
It's wonderful. Any chances of investment in tourism service training centers, as I asked?
I don't think that we directly as Swiss government, you know, but I'm sure that in future there might be Swiss companies who are interested to invest in hospitality here. I'm very much sure.
Right.
Yeah.
These were few questions that I had in my mind, Excellency. Anything else you would like to add that I didn't ask you about Nepal Swiss cooperation or any other area?
No, I want to say I'm very grateful after all this year what I've seen, you know, that I see a positive nation. I see a lot of changes. I see the women, the young women have changed so much. When we see the body language and their potential and where they are, I mean, this is a difference. And I am positive in the sense that this country is on the right track. Where I see maybe a bit clouds is about environment destruction. You know, we see this whole country is one construction place, and I would hope that, especially the respect for old, I mean, houses, old architecture. Will be increasing, because we see in Switzerland the village who were kept as they were, they have the biggest tourist potential.
Right.
Because people, when they want to go somewhere, they want to see the originality, you know. And if you have everywhere concrete houses, why should I go? So I believe there could be some room, but otherwise, you know, I'm so grateful to be able to see this development.
You were here about 2 decades ago also, and now you are here. It's been almost 4 years, I think. 5 years now you are you experienced Nepal. So can you point out, say, 5 major positive changes that you have seen, and 5 not so good ones, as you said about the environment. Can you say something?
I would say peace. Then a very, very progressive, good constitution.
Okay.
Then Nepali, who are especially the migrants, the hero of this country, you know, and still, I mean, the rural population, I mean, the kind of, resilience they have and the kind of also endurance they have is amazing. And then also, of course, Nepali hospitality and Nepali warmth, that's really also a positive, or is a gain for Nepal. And I see also, as I said, the young women, I see young people who want to invest, who want to do something here. That's the best condition you can have. And then, of course, you have a country with this kind of beautiful nature you can build on, and you should build on. Yeah, I think I have not forgotten anything, hopefully. I could continue, but you said 5, so I leave it 5.
Okay.
And as I said, more the areas where I would see some still potential is really the whole sensitivity to environment. I think that's really... When we see the plastic, when we see the rivers, how this is now exploited, you know, raw material. I think that's, I hope there. But also I believe now when Nepali go to walk and hike and in the parks, when they see what kind of beauty they have, they will maybe also invest in future. Yeah.
We have more than 50% youth in this country, and 56% up to 30 years, I guess. So what is your suggestion, advice to them? What should they do to make the Nepal a better place to live in? What can they do as a youth, because they are in the mainstream of Nepal's many area?
I mean, mean, education is important. Education, and also to come together and dare to innovate. I hope, but I see it that it is happening when you see now how many initiatives are taken. I believe that's the area where they should focus, and then also I believe that each citizen has a mandate to make the system happen. You know, we have to they have to critically engage with the system, because it is each generation who has to own democracy. We see it also in Switzerland. The young people, they have to own. A democracy is not given. You know, you have to make a democracy happen, and for that you have to own it. And I believe this is something young generation could also see. I mean, what kind of good constitution they have, and how to help to implement it.
I must also ask this question. You have been praising about our constitution.
Yes.
Thank you for that. But most of the parties, most of the many people are not very happy with the constitution. What may be the reasons, and what do you want to say about to them?
You know, a constitution is a living document. You know,
Right.
a constitution is not here for the next 200 years.
Right.
You know, and your constitution you can always improve.
Right.
So it's not a good or a bad constitution. It's a good constitution, but we have to. Nepal has to implement it first. You know, before you change, I would advise first try to implement. And then, of course, I mean, that's the rule also of the lawmakers afterwards. Then if they feel that they have to add something in the constitution, they can. So again, I would say constitution is a living document, but give it a chance first, try first, and then, of course, adapt, improve. That's what we do.
So you think Nepal is going in the right direction from that perspective?
Yes, I hope so. I believe so. Yeah.
Thank you very much,
Thank you
Your
very
Excellency,
much.
for your very candid answers and
Thank
your
you so
precious
much.
time.
Thank you so much for having me here. It was a
Yes.
pleasure to talk with you, and hope to see you soon again.
Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you. Thank you.
Namaste.